Welcome to the Busy to Balance podcast. I am your host, Jamie Zweer, and I'm the founder of Oh How Healthy. This podcast is all about how to show you, the overworked, overwhelmed, and occasionally unhealthy woman, how to find health and balance in all different areas of your life. I will share with you digestible, bite-sized bits of info on everything from balancing a healthy plate to keeping a healthy home and everything in between. Now listen, I know that you are busy, and that is why I will keep these episodes short, sweet, and to the point. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. As always, I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited that you lend me your time and your ear and you listen to what my message is that I really am so passionate to share with this world. So I'm really looking forward to this episode, and it is one that is the basis really of behind my coaching, behind what I talk about. And today, I'm going to be talking all about my 3 main pillars behind finding balance. And whenever I do a presentation or a workshop, I always refer to finding balance as broken up into these 3 main pillars because the idea of balance and finding balance can be a little bit overwhelming. Sometimes people don't believe in balance and I totally understand it. But a way to make this tangible and understandable, I break it down into 3 main pillars. And that is exactly what we're going to go over today. So the way that I look at it is that there is no perfectly balanced way of living. As much as we would like to have a life perfectly segmented, the reality of it is that it's just not the way it works out. So during a workshop or presentation, before I introduce these 3 main pillars, I have everyone fill out a worksheet. And this worksheet is called the Circle of Life, and it is a worksheet that I had received from my health coaching training back in 2014 from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and the founder Joshua Rosenthal was the creator of this. So I don't take any credit for it at all, and really what we were taught in our holistic health education is really the emphasis of what holistic health means. So I really infuse this into my coaching currently. So this worksheet is called the Circle of Life. And by the way, you can find this worksheet on my website at ohhowhealthy.com. And if you look for the resources tab, you could find this and download it and then fill it out yourself. But this worksheet helps you determine what area in your life that you need most support in. Some of the areas, for example, that make up this Circle of Life are, of course, the ones that we all kind of focus on: our health, our home cooking, our physical fitness, but it's so much more than that. It encompasses areas like your home environment, your spirituality, your satisfaction, your relationships, finances, and more. So this really helps to encourage you to look at your life as a whole, as like a full circle here. This is really hard to explain over a podcast, but you'll have to go check it out. But essentially what you want is have each area that you filled in each segment, you want the dot to fall on the outer circle, on the outer edges of the circle. And when you connect all the dots, it looks like you have a full circle of life. But, there's different seasons to life. There's different times in our lives that, of course, will not have our lives perfectly full circle all the time, which, again, is not really realistic. But anyway, this is a tool that really just helps encourage you find what area could possibly use support in. And this is important because, yes, a huge portion of being healthy is eating well and having a balanced diet and having a healthy exercise routine, but it is just important to have health in the other areas of your life as well. For example, you can eat all the kale in the world, but if you're super stressed out about having enough money to pay for your bills on time, then that is going to take a major toll on your health. So the goal here is to really get a bird's eye view of what your own unique situation looks like and then we can go from there. And that is what I hear from a lot of women as the most challenging thing to do, really. Find balance in all these different areas of life, right? There's so many things going on, and how am I supposed to get a home-cooked meal and get my workout in and have positive relationships and focus on work to pay the bills? Like all these different things, like it can be so overwhelming. So I boiled this down to 3 main pillars. And if you can imagine the circle of life as almost like a plate being held up by these 3 pillars. And if any one of the pillars is out of whack or falls down or, isn't strong enough to hold the circle of life, or almost like this fragile plate up, then it causes it to fall down, right? So your goal here is to create balance and keep the plate steady. All right, so let's dive into what these 3 pillars are already, right? The first pillar is self-respect, and this pillar is a super important one. Self-respect includes everything from eating well to having strong boundaries and using your voice. Self-respect is having respect for yourself and acknowledging your own needs and desires and not feeling guilty about doing so or any of the sort. Having self-respect is not you being selfish at all. It is you allowing your own needs to be met so that you are able to show up better. You're able to show up stronger for not only yourself, but everyone else around you. You're able to be a better friend, a better mother, a better sister, a better wife, a better student, and the list goes on. If you are constantly giving and giving and giving to others, as women tend to do, then you are going to deplete yourself. You're going to be irritable, moody, tired, foggy-headed, sluggish, and you're not going to be able to be that woman that you want to be for not only to show up the way you want to show up, but for other people. So let's take a closer look into what these aspects of self-respect are. Self-respect really is one of my favorite pillars, and I honestly think it's one of the strongest pillars. So self-respect, like I said, it's everything from eating to having a voice. And really where I like to start is with the eating part. So when you eat well, you're showing yourself that you respect yourself, honestly. Eating well really just consists of consuming lots of colorful, fresh foods, unprocessed foods, foods made with minimal ingredients. You don't want to pick up something and it have like a million different ingredients on the back. You want it to preferably be homemade, organic when possible, and also wild caught when possible. So that's just a very basic form when it comes to what foods to eat, and I just break it down to those 3 or 4 main things. You want it to be fresh. You want to eat colorful foods, unprocessed foods, minimal ingredients, homemade, organic, and wild caught when possible. And also, eating healthy doesn't have to be super expensive either. I say eat organic when possible, but it's not always necessary. You don't have to go crazy with that. There's actually a list on the environmental working group called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen lists. So the Dirty Dozen is a list of the most pesticide containing food, and then the Clean 15 is a list of the least contaminated foods with pesticides. So the Clean 15 lists are typically foods that have like an outer peel that you can peel away, like a pineapple you can cut off, banana you peel away the skin. And so those foods are, you can choose to get them conventionally grown because you're peeling away or chopping away some of the pesticides, not all the pesticides, but, and then the Dirty Dozen list is a list of the most contaminated foods. So those are things that are sprayed on directly, and then you're eating the whole piece of fruit, like a blueberry, a strawberry, spinach. You're just going to eat that directly. You're not peeling anything away. So those are things that you might want to try to buy organic when possible. So first part of that is eating well. You also want to drink enough water. It's all relative, right? The generic 8 cups of water is, that's very generic. So you want to drink about half of your body weight in ounces of water. You also want to get lots of sleep when you're respecting yourself. You want to aim for about 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. if you have a lot going on in your head and you have trouble winding down, you just want to simply set a wind down reminder maybe on your phone, use some essential oils like lavender and lemongrass, practice some breathing techniques. I really like to recommend the 5-7-8 breathing technique, where you breathe in for 5 seconds, you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for 8 seconds. And I can leave those tips in the show notes as well. Self-respect also includes getting lots of physical activity. You wanna get that body moving. I'm not saying that you have to get to the gym 7 days a week. You don't even have to get there 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. You just want to move your body. You want to start from where you are and just take those small little steps to where you want to be. Even if you plan to work out 1 day a week, hey, that's better than nothing. So start small, get yourself excited to go to the gym, create a new playlist, maybe get some new workout clothes, pick up a new pair of sneakers, anything that might get you motivated. And really, you want to plan for success the night before when you are setting up for exercise here. You want to have your headphones by the door, your water bottle by the door. Even if you're just going downstairs to grab a quick workout, you just want to have everything ready. Because chances are your time might be limited, so you just want to take advantage of all the time that you have. If an accountability partner is helpful for you, set that up. If going to classes is going to be what you need, then set that up as well. And part of self-respect is also self-care. So it's not selfish, like I said before, to take care of yourself. And it also doesn't have to be this elaborate thing either. I mean, simply treating yourself to anything from a massage to a cup of tea is you taking time for yourself and putting yourself first. You can just simply put your phone on airplane mode, ask your husband to grab the baby for a little bit, just so you can take a bath, or give yourself a facial at home, or go out and get a facial, get your nails done, anything really to kind of give back to yourself. And I know that can be, for some people, easier said than done, right? You're like, why bother spending the extra $20 on myself? Like, it could just go to this. And I don't really need my nails done. And I don't think I need a massage. But trust me when I say you do it, and then you do feel better. You fill your cup up so that you're not constantly pouring from an empty cup. And then this allows you to really show up as this person, as this woman that you want to be in this world. Because when you think of her, I mean, what is she doing? Is she just saying, nah, I guess I don't need that massage, or I guess, why spend the money on me? Or is she actually getting this stuff done? So, we all strive to be this self-actualized person, and we really have to act like her every single day, because we're not just going to wake up and become her. You really have to own it now. And part of self-respect is creating healthy relationships. So on average, you become 5 of the people that you spend the most time with. So you really want to audit that. You want to check seriously, take a second, pause this podcast, figure out who are those 5 people that you're spending time with. Are they your coworkers? Are they your neighbors? Are they your friends? Is it your family? Is it your children? Who is it? And do you need to hang out with more up-leveling people? And even if you don't have people locally to you, hop online, hop on a Facebook group, join the Busy to Balance group for women. There's some awesome women in there. I mean, this is what I do. I have people around me, but I also meet a lot of people virtually, and that, it works perfectly fine. So audit those people that you're spending your time with. Make sure they are up-leveling people. You want to really protect your energy and your mood and your time. Part of self-respect is managing your stress. Stress is huge. Stress manifests in us in so many different ways, and it's really a silent little killer. You really don't want stress. If you feel like you have stress, you really just want to maintain and manage it and try to diminish it as much as possible. Of course, stress is natural. It's going to sneak up on us, but don't let it get the best of you. Take a break. Take a few breaks throughout the day. Take some deep cleansing breaths. You want to take some time to just roll your shoulders. When I was at work, I would just simply take a few bathroom breaks, and I would just be in the bathroom and just rolling my shoulders, rotating my neck, touching my toes, jumping up and down, getting the blood flowing. I'm telling you, these were the things that just helped me get by. You want to journal. Journaling is important because if you have a lot of things going on in your head, maybe that argument with your sister is stuck in your head and you just kind of can't get over it and you're just getting yourself all worked up, you want to really write it out. Just journal about it. Honestly, this is such a powerful tool for me because a lot of the times when I go ahead and write something down about, oh, I'm so frustrated that, and then I write it down and I'm like, really? Really? That's what you were upset about? And you are able to either find a solution in your head and you're able to work through it differently or maybe see the other person's point of view. And, so journaling, it can be really powerful, not just when you're feeling frustrated because you're in an argument, but in general, it helps you work through different emotions and feelings. A great way to manage stress is watch comedians and funny shows. I am the queen of watching comedians and shows that are funny. My husband will always ask me, what do you want to watch? Like what kind of movie or what kind of show? It's always going to be something funny or a rom-com that has like a happy ending. I'm so sensitive to, I don't know, scary shows or things that just like get in my head and mess with my dreams, and just it will stick with me. Not the gory stuff, because it raises your cortisol levels, like when you're feeling like flight or fight response when you're like watching a show. I mean, it's going to affect you. So I mean, you don't have to really not watch them again, but watch comedians. My favorite is Sebastian Maniscalco. He's the best. He's the funniest. But there's 1,000,001 different comedians out there. So that's a great way to manage stress, is just laugh it out. Go to a comedy show and just laugh it out. Another part of self-respect is using your voice. So this means saying no to things that you don't want to do and saying yes to things that you do want to do. That really shows up in different ways for everyone. So, for example, saying no to things you don't want to do. It doesn't necessarily mean be mean to people, but if your neighbor is taking advantage of you and asking you to let out her cat 5 days this week because she has to go away, and you're like, well, it cuts into my schedule, or it's doing this or it's doing that, then you can simply say no. You don't have to feel guilty and do things you don't want to do. Chances are your neighbor will find someone else, or maybe you can find like one day to get over there. But when you're doing things just because you feel like you have to do it, that builds resentment in you, and that just makes you show up in a different way. You might be more grouchy that day, more irritable. So when you just simply say no to things you don't want to do, it's really powerful once you start doing this. So you say no to things you don't want to do, and then saying yes to things that you do want to do. So not letting fear run the show, and saying yes to show up for things that might intimidate you a little bit. Maybe your boss asks you, hey, are you interested in maybe applying for this promotional position? Or someone asks you to maybe stretch out of your comfort zone a little bit, or try on a dress maybe you wouldn't normally try on, but that's enticing to you. Or someone asks you out and you're like, don't let fear hold you back because of what you think might happen. This is all part of using your voice. You want to say no to the things that are not serving you, and say yes and step into things that you do want to do. And, allow fear to be there, but don't let fear run the show. And then this is how you will break through and really become that ideal version of yourself. So that is our pillar number 1. That is self-respect in a nutshell. We talked about eating well, drinking plenty of water, being properly hydrated, getting plenty of sleep and rest, getting physical activity in and movement, self-care, taking care of yourself, doing whatever that is for yourself, creating healthy relationships, also managing stress. Self-respect also includes using your voice. And yes, so that is self-respect in a nutshell. And then that takes us to pillar 2, time management. So time management is a good one. So we have self-respect holding up one area. Now time management is just as equal as the self-respect area. We're always so quick to say that we don't have any time, but really the playing field is even when it comes to this. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, both me, you, and Beyonce. But the question remains, what are you doing with your 24 hours? So I'm going to challenge you to audit yourself. We all start with the same 24 hours. We sleep for 8 of them. So that leaves us with 16 hours. And then let's say you work a 9 to 5. So that leaves you with 8 hours because you're working 8 hours of the day. And then let's say you even commute an hour for work. So you're left with 7 hours left in the day. And this isn't even counting the time you spend on the weekends or the days you're sleeping or working less than 8 hours a day. So I really want you to be honest with yourself here and really figure out what you're doing with your time. But time management is a huge one. I mean, what is it you're doing? Are you scrolling Facebook? Are you spending it productively? With those 7 hours, you may want to relax. And if you want to relax and that's a priority of yours, to take maybe better care of yourself and, focus more on that area, then that's totally fine. But if you're saying, I don't have the time to meal prep, Jamie, I just don't have it, or I don't really have the time to get 8 hours of sleep, or so just check what you have going on. And, if getting the gym in is a priority of yours, then how can you fit that in? Maybe you're just fitting in 15 minutes to start, or 30 minutes to start, or 45 minutes. It might not even take you an hour. So even if it did take you an hour, that will leave you with 6 hours left out of those 24 hours after you were getting an 8-hour rest and working for 8 hours and then commuting for an hour and then getting your workout in. So I'm just asking you to figure out what it is you have going on, and then that's really going to be the first step to conquering this pillar here. So you want to figure out what you're doing with your time, and then you also want to figure out how to maximize your time. Can you do something during your commute for work? Can you take advantage of commercial breaks and do some push-ups during that time? Can you wake up 15 minutes earlier? There's just ways where you can find little nuggets of time. You also want to check your words and what you're saying about time. Are you constantly saying you don't have enough of it? I don't have the time for that. You can swap your words. You can use positive mantras. You can say, I just recently shared a post about this on my Instagram about mantras that you can say to yourself. Instead of saying, I don't have time, you can say, I'm choosing not to spend my time there today. Or you can say things like, instead of saying, I'm constantly running late, you can say, I'm really working on improving myself and I'm getting better with time management every day. So, just check your words. What are you saying about your time? And so with this pillar, we're going to be digging into this a lot throughout the podcast. I have 1,000,001 tips about this, but really if this is a subject for you, or if anything is really, or if you just notice you really could use some additional support in these areas, this is what I do, guys. I am a coach. So if anyone wanted to apply for a consultation with me, you can easily do so. So you can have my eyes directly on you and your unique situation and what you have going on, so that I can really help you and figure out where you are and take you to where you want to be. So, check out the website if you're interested in that. That's all in the show notes as well. But we're going to be diving in to this pillar as well as the other pillars later down the line in future episodes. So our third pillar here is organization. And organization is organizing everything from your calendar to your mind to your living room. Creating organization is going to create simplicity and efficiency and clarity in all different areas of your life. And this may not come naturally, and that is totally okay. It definitely does not come naturally to me. This takes a crap ton of my time and energy and practice. But the way that I look at it is that, you have to take these small little baby steps and try your hardest every single day. And then all you can do is just check in at the end of the week and see what worked and what didn't go well, and then what you can do to fix it for the next week. I am constantly trying to figure out what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And then by doing that, I am finding ways to improve. I might think that I would be so much more efficient if I, put all of my information into this Google Doc and I transferred over to my calendar. But in reality, I'm just a pen and paper kind of girl. And what works for me is writing things down, having it in my handy dandy calendar that I carry around with me, and it just works better for me. So you got to find your little thing and you got to go with it. Try not to get too worked up about it. Try not to get too, let it get to you too much. Again, it took me a long time to figure this out, but I have a tried and true system now, and these are things that I'm so excited and eager to share with everyone. And organization is this third pillar because it is just as important as the self-respect, as the time management, and they all work so seamlessly together. And it really is key. So organization creates a clear space, and a clear space equals a clear mind. Like I said, all you can really do is plan the best that you can. You want to, if you have a family, find a system that works best for you and your family. Maybe that's a whiteboard that, things are color coded, or you have Post-it notes places. And encourage your family to take part in the organization of the household and your schedules. It doesn't all have to be mom's work. So get the kids involved, get the family involved, find a system that works best for everyone, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's creating chores or having a Sunday reflection day, Sunday meetings, or gather for Monday breakfast together, wake up a little bit earlier, get your family together. Or if it's just yourself or you and your husband, just find what works for you and your family. Create and review these lists together. Use a planner or whiteboard or good old pen and paper, and set and review goals together. So inside this organization pillar encompasses goal setting. Now, when you create a goal, you don't just want to have any old goal like we're going to be healthier this week. You want to have the acronym SMART in your head when you make your goal. Is it a specific goal? So yes, we want to be healthier this week, but is it specific? What aspect of being healthier do you want to do? Do you want to get physically moving this week? Do you want to eat a little bit better? Do you want to drink more water this week? So get specific. And the M stands for measurable. So is this goal measurable? Is there a way that you can track this goal? Yes, I can track this because my goal is to drink more water. And if I track how many ounces of water I'm drinking, then yes, I can track it. The A in SMART stands for attainable. Is this goal attainable? Can you achieve it? R stands for realistic. Is it a realistic goal? And then T stands for timely. Can you complete your goal in the amount of time that you set for yourself? So you just want to have that acronym SMART in your head when you're creating a goal. Again, it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So that in a nutshell, everyone, is my 3 pillars to creating balance and health in your everyday life. And again, we will be diving into these pillars. Again, they are my 3 pillars, so I talk about them constantly. And that is what this podcast is all about. Each episode really gets broken down and fits into one of those pillars. And yeah, so that is about it for today. I hope that you really enjoyed this podcast. So if you loved this episode, which I hope you did, I would love to hear from you. If you would be kind enough to leave me a rating or review over on iTunes, that is super helpful. And also feel free to take a screenshot of this podcast, add it to your story on Instagram, tag me in it, and I'll be sure to give you a shout out. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you all soon.